Hello there, my very good friends. On today's wrestling news, AEW Dynamite falls to an all-time low rating on a Wednesday night. I'm Andy.
I'm Michael.
And this is the news. And the only thing worse than this TV rating is VAR. But we won't get into that. Let's talk about the AEW rating. Look, we only really cover ratings on this show when it's a notable massive high or a notable low. And this is the all-time low for Dynamite on Wednesday night. Now, because it is the era of streaming and simulcast, there are caveats to this, obviously. But let's just go over these numbers, shall we? So the total viewership for this week's post-Forbidden Door episode of Dynamite was 585,000 across the 2 hours, averaged out, boom, 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 boom. So actually, the overall viewership was up from last week, 3.5%. But, however, it is the second lowest for the show since July 2nd. Yada, yada. That's not that much. It's like 8 weeks. Who cares? Yeah. But the more significant figure is the 18 to 49 demographic, which is how these shows are ranked on cable. They are not ranked by overall viewership. They are ranked by the demographic. If you go on any TV reporting website, you will see that. A 0.13, which is an ugly ass number. It's down 18.8% from the previous week. And it ties the lowest rating the show has ever done on a Wednesday night. So there will be other examples of it going a bit lower than that. There will be when it's been preempted or when it's been on a Thursday or a Friday or a Tuesday. It's been all over the place sometimes, Dynamite, particularly in the pandemic. Remember that era when it was on a Tuesday and like Nathan Fraser was on the show and stuff? Yeah, it was crazy. Crazy era. So there's more to dive into with this, and I think it's worthy of a discussion for sure, because I do think there is a big gap between the vibes of the show right now and the business that it's doing. Show still ranked 4th on cable.
Says something.
Pretty good, pretty good. So, there's always context to these things. That's why we give you the full picture. We don't just sit here and go, this number was bad. Yeah, it's not good, but here's some bad things. Here's some good things about it as well, ways that it maybe did all right. It was up against some tennis, a little game where they like hit a ball over a goose or something like that. And
it's like they've supersized paddle.
Yeah,
they're giving it a go.
That's it. Andre Gassi, he plays
pong. It's like ping pong, but it's just with like massive sized bats.
Roger Federer.
Yeah.
That checks out. They got beat by the Fed.
The Roger Federers. I joke about tennis. I used to play a bit of tennis as a kid. I'm quite handy with the tennis cue.
As they say in the business. Right. It was down year over year as well. The 18 to 49 demographic was down 43.5%. Which is not the best. The big caveat to this is, obviously, we don't know how many people are watching this on HBO Max, right? Or Max, or whatever it's called these days. BJ Bethel of SE Scoops reported 5 months ago that number was around 500,000 people a week. We don't get reported these numbers every week. They just don't come out. They aren't reported anywhere. That was the only time we've ever really heard any viewership information, and it sparked a huge kerfuffle, a huge discussion with people, and all of this stuff. Before we advance, though, I would like to appeal to your generosity real quick. Next week, my large self, this guy's doing it too. He's a better runner than me, so it'll be like the tortoise and the hare, except in this case the tortoise will lose.
I think it might.
Half marathon next Sunday, my friends. I'm raising funds in memory of my father, Jim, who passed away last year. It's why I disappeared from the channel last year. British Heart Foundation, it's a great cause. Life-saving research. If you can contribute anything, very, very much appreciated. The link is in the comments. It's in the description below. It's justgiving.com/page/Andy H. Murray. Everything helps if you can contribute anything at all. Times are tough, but thank you so much.
Let me just say, you're not just sponsoring him for next Sunday, you're sponsoring him for the ace he's been kicking that I've been witnessing happening. I've been learning what K's are, because I don't really get it. But then Murray tells me what a K is, and I translate that to Mars, I'm like, this is great, buddy.
It's a kilometre.
He's pounding the P, this guy. So you're not just pavement, so you're not just sponsoring for next Sunday, you're sponsoring for all the training that goes into it. A half marathon is absolutely no joke.
It's a cheat code.
This man has done the work.
That's very kind of you, thank you very much. A kilometre is a cheat code though, because it is shorter than a mile. So you can say, hey, I did 20 Ks. Yeah, it sounds bigger, doesn't it?
It does.
It's good. It's like, that's why I weigh myself in pounds instead of kilos.
I do get involved in that, yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah. It's like, I lost 10 pounds. That's like 4 kilos or something. It's ace. Anyway, AEW's TV rating this week. What do you make of it? What do you make of the difference between the vibes of the show this week and the business?
Well, big. Really big, especially this week. I think he made the exact point to make at the very top of this show. the only conclusions we can really jump to about like numerical disparity at the moment is probably the obvious ones. Yeah, that being that Hangman Page is world champion.
They're going to
I'm joking.
You're going to get fried.
I'm joking.
This is the comment section frying you up right now.
We're having a laugh. We're all having fun, though. I mean, really.
Because that's how you hold a frying pan as well.
There's some consistency to that. But no. But in all seriousness, yes, there is a mystery amount of people that have definitely made the jump over to the streaming service. This would be like, as we say when we cover the WWE ratings dips on Netflix. Whilst we can assess a number there, we can also assess that versus when it was on cable, and so on and so on and so on. Streaming services have absolutely changed the way you need to assess this sort of stuff. However, without knowing that number, obviously we can only assess the data that we've got in front of us. And I think, historically, if a wrestling show is successful, and by that I mean it's sort of like hitting the customers in all, consumers and customers in all the ways they want, every graph points upward regardless of things like, what did Nick Khan say on WWE Unreal? You know, it's a difficult Canadian economy at the moment. No, when business is hot, it's just straight up hot. Like, promoters have historically named the weather, the economy, the whatever. And
the weather, that's a good one.
We've heard it though, right? Every excuse.
It was hot outside, so no one was watching TV.
Nobody was really mentioning bad weather when Steve Austin was on top.
Exactly.
You know, like Hulk Hogan's prime years did not coincide with like changeable weather. So the point is, when the business is hot, it will be hot in spite of factors. So yes, whilst I would say there is absolutely an audience that have switched to Max, and AEW will presumably have that data and thus be really happy or otherwise with it. If it was hotter at the box office, at the ratings, this number would be higher regardless. So I think we can kind of square that away. 2025, I personally believe, and I sense kind of this might be more, it's a subjective take, but it feels increasingly like the case. We've seen WWE's creative dip and AEW's creative rise, but as a result, I think here is a middle rather than a high, rather than a low. We're talking about a low rating today, but I think ultimately AEW can be very happy with its creative upturn in 2025.
Yeah, I agree.
It's not translating yet in terms of increased audiences, whether that be on television or in the buildings, but AEW have turned that negative into a positive, much like how WWE ran Wembley for SummerSlam 92, but were in the Manhattan Center for Raw in 93. AEW are experiencing their own version of that, but have found a way to polish their product up and feel hotter for those that have tuned in. Speaking as somebody that stuck around for multiple WWE business declines, it meant more when they were figuring out ways to make the product hotter for those that stuck around, rather than worrying about waiting for the business to magically recover. So I actually welcome AEW's vibes on Wednesdays being as hot as they've been, even if it means smaller, intimate settings. It's wrestling. These things do come in cycles. They do. The good times will roll again. There will be milk and honey. There'll be a Wembley Stadium next summer.
Yes.
You know, there are big houses that AEW are still finding. Dallas did, 35 to 40,000, whatever it is. Big
success with Forbidden Door just now as well.
Exactly.
Like top 5
broke
gate
the
ever.
attendance record at the O2 for any wrestling show. Like, there are still things to trumpet. It's just weird that it can sit in lockstep with all-time ratings lows. I do think it speaks to the what's the word I'm after? The schizophrenia of AEW's like kind of audience relationship at the moment.
Pardon me, just burped for no reason. I agray.
Burping on the news now.
That's how we roll. Wait till we start farting.
I cannot wait.
Then it gets real.
Fart City Jones.
Fart Man John.
I'm farting. That's what MVP would say when he bursts through the curtain.
He's been bursting through the curtain all day. Yes, I agree. And look, pay-per-view, live pay-per-view. So there are some real business positives in AEW. Pay-per-view buys are great, especially for this era.
That's nearly once a month now. You're asking for people's money.
$40, $50 or something in the US. It's like 25 quid over here. What did I pay for Forbidden Door? Yeah, like £25, something like that. So, you know, that is tremendously successful. AEW pay-per-views are the surest thing in the company because there is a level of quality that people expect, and that level of quality is very high. And also the attendances for these pay-per-views, right? All in Texas, 29,000, something like that. They just broke the attendance record at the O2. They're going to do a really great house as well for All Out, which is coming right up in Canada. So, like, nobody can spin those as being, those are tremendous business successes, and we will see what Wembley does next year as well. So, pay-per-view, huge success. Week-to-week television, we're discussing the ratings here, but also one of the reasons they are in smaller buildings at the moment is because they weren't the arena attendances were on the decline. And I think it is much more pleasurable to watch a fun show in the ECW arena, which is a lot smaller and full, than seeing some faceless basketball stadium that was built a year ago and only has like one layer of fans.
The tarp pictures were getting a bit boring and depressing to see every week.
And we went through that with WWE for years, right? Years.
SmackDowns were brutal at one point. Like the wrestlers cutting promos to nobody.
The amount of thumbnails we got out of those old WWE tarps was unbelievable.
Was it Stomping Ground that was like a 3-sided pay-per-view?
Yeah.
It just curtained the entire side of the building.
There was one... there was a match on that show early on where a cameraman accidentally swooped around into the empty bit, and it was like,
oh boy,
it's grim. It's grim when they have to do that. So like, and one of the benefits of the smaller arena shows is that people are closer and they're more engaged, and it's not this giant arena. I'm sure they'd love to be selling out arenas again on TV, but it's not in a position where that can happen. So the interesting thing for me is that disconnect between the vibe of the show and the business. The business has not yet picked up. I thought it would. I thought after All In with Hangman winning the title, the main character, we would see a bit more of an uptick so far. So still waiting for that to happen. We'll see if it does. You don't, if you're a wrestling promoter, you don't knee-jerk decisions based off one rating or anything like that. Like Tony Khan won't be sitting there and going, all-time low rating, I better change everything. I better make MJF the champion, and I better introduce 5 new weekly shows and 12 new titles. He's not going to do that. It's 1 week. One thing about this week's show, I don't feel like it had Darby versus Claudio to a degree, but it didn't have like a massive marquee match, right? And also they've gone down this road, and I don't like this, by the way, of only announcing like 2 or 3 matches before the show now. I don't enjoy that. I miss the days of knowing the full card and knowing what to expect and what to look forward to.
But Excalibur doesn't mind a breather compared to how it was getting fame.
There is a pay-per-view week when he has Collision, next week's Dynamite, the pay-per-view, There
is the recent Chicago residents to use as a bit of historical evidence to suggest that what they might do is use this week as the welcome to the building, the middle week as the you won't believe what's coming next week. And was it? Because it was Moxley Hangman that paid off the cycle in Chicago.
That's
I'll probably book something big for that 3rd and final ECW Arena Dynamite.
Some crazy ECW tribute match thing.
The Moxley Hangman Dynamite drew a great number, didn't it? Like
maybe they even do Moxley Darby.
Rather than doing it for all out because Moxley's pushing back on
some kind of barbed wire Sabu gimmick.
Oh my god! Somewhat wild in the building that is befitting of the venue.
They have to really. I mean, they did it this week. Obviously, that main event was insane. But they kind of have to. I think
scaffold match. It's, what was it? High Incident, was it? Tommy Dreamer and Brian Lee or whatever it was.
Let's go. Let's not talk about New Jack and
oh boy,
skip that one.
It's I don't. I'm with you. You don't rush to make any like sweeping changes when I think broadly your core base, and these are the people that are filling those smaller buildings, are largely very satisfied with AEW in 2025.
I thought this week's episode rocked, by the way.
I think creatively they've had the best year they've had since probably 2022. It's not been without missteps, of course, but like it's 52-week year product. You're going to get that. Positive vibes are back in AEW. I don't think this 1 week thing is consistent with most of the Dynamites this year. I would say the product feels like it's satisfying more than it's annoying in 2025.
Absolutely. And look, I believe firmly that AEW does not need to be chasing higher ratings than WWE. I do not think it should be aiming to be WWE. I think it should aim to be the best version of AEW possible. And it should do things that differentiate itself from the market leader.
On that point as well, my last thing on this is it is categorically, based on the numbers, even when the graphs point down, categorically, by a billion miles, the number 2 wrestling promotion in North America. Do not believe anything you read that say that TNA are coming for the crown, because it's very obvious they're not. It's a WWE bit of spin. It's AEW still. Their position there is not under any threat.
It is. No disrespect to TNA. It's just like where the bit. And TNA's attendances this year have been good. Right? But TNA currently earns $0 from its TV deal. AEW earns $185 million a year.
Cannot use one thing to extrapolate and make another thing out of this.
Exactly. Hey, look, there we go. Fairest, most even-handed analysis in the game, I think, probably. Don't listen to people who tell you the company's going out of business. It's not, but this is a crap week, and business is lagging behind in terms of TV ratings, lagging behind the vibes at the moment. Time will tell if they eventually catch up with each other. But you can catch up with life by checking out this video video right here. We think you're going to love it. I think you're going to love it. Algorithm. He's Al Gore's brother, and he thinks you're going to love it too. See you later.
He's his musical brother.
He's
got rhythm.
He hasn't lost any elections, folks, so wins every time.
He does.
There you go. Did Al Gore lose an election?
I think he did, yeah.
Bye.